Who's going to be the hard ass this week with Harper out? I mean, I'll do it.
Yeah, you'd be the host and the enforcer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shut up, dude.
It sounds like your normal hosting. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just prepare to...
It'll be great.
It'll be perfect. Yeah, so just prepare to...
Y'all motherfuckers don't watch us play throughout the year, to tell you the truth. I'm gonna be real with you, and I don't care if I get fined.
I got my sweet jerk with them shoes on.
That train is off the track.
I feel like you can't just like jump through Neptune and be okay.
Just prepare to...
What the show needs is more dogs and bears and chickens and stuff.
Yeah, so just prepare to be awash in unbelievable goodness.
Welcome, Pacers fans. You are listening to the Undebeatables, your semi-weekly Pacers podcast. Today is Sunday, April 6th, 2025, and this is episode 756. Coming to you from Indianapolis, Indiana. I'm your host, Joey Gaffrida, the man behind the dials. This show, we're going to discuss a 3-0 week of Pacers basketball with games against Sacramento, Charlotte, and Utah. Joining me this show are two of our three analysts, coast to coast, like buttered toast. First, from the high school home of Jamison Brewer, Silver Spring, Maryland, it's the doctor, Jason Triplett.
What is up, Pacers fans? What is up, Undebeatable? Shout out to the UConn Huskies women's basketball team who won the national championship in decisive fashion today, led by freshman Sarah Strong, who dropped 24 points, 15 boards, and had 5 assists. Of course, Paige Beckers, probably the biggest star on that team, was awesome. They held the number 1 seed and number 2 overall ranked Gamecocks. Not a single one of their starters scored 10 points in this game.
Wow.
Yeah. It was just impressive on both sides of the ball and super duper emotional moment at the end of the game when, they were up by 30, so they got to do, check people out, and Paige Beckers came off, and huge hug from Gino Auriemma. First title for the Huskies in since 2016, I think. So, they're always good, and we're probably tired of them winning championships. But I thought this one was pretty good. So
You're going to get tired of winning.
shout out to them. And Paige Beckers is fun to watch.
From Asheville, North Carolina, he's our in-house bartender, mixing up the drinks in the crappy jingles, and he swears that his balls don't lie. John Colson.
What is up, Pacer Nation? What is up, Undebeatables? Shout out to my folks this week who are probably in the car driving and listening to this episode after they've left Asheville. They came up for my birthday. So thanks for that. Shout out. And to all the birthday wishes I had this week. Thanks, everybody.
Shout out.
Before we get into the show, I do want to remind listeners they can support the longest-running Pacers podcast, which is us, by heading over to patreon.com/undebeatables. And you can support us for as little as $1 per month. Thank you to new patrons. And I gotta get some stuff in the mail for our new patrons. So it will be coming your way. Thank you for supporting us. It's that time of the year. I think that there's like the pledge drive. We should do a pledge drive, right, guys?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want us to do?
Well, my first plan was to get Cory Booker on the show.
Okay.
Not so much for content, but not for just for the volume of things he can do.
Sure. You want him to do a 25-hour podcast for us?
Yeah, and we'll bookend it too, but
Yeah, we'll just get him rolling, and then
yeah.
We'll do a pod with him, ask him some questions, leave for a whole day, and then come back and record the closer.
Because people need content. That's
true.
my first
It's
idea.
a good idea. I was thinking telethon,
Yeah,
like, save the Pacers.
right. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Maybe we could get Nancy Leonard on.
Yeah. She could answer the phones like she did back in the day.
I feel like she should be in a better position than that.
Okay, I'll answer the phones and she can do the podcast.
There you go. Perfect. Perfect. All right, we'll workshop this and we'll get back to you and we'll let you know how we'll be disrupting our normal show so we can ask you for money.
So suddenly we're NPR.
Yeah. Well, we got our federal funding dropped. So what am I supposed to do?
Okay, fair enough.
All right, guys. Well, as I mentioned before, we had a 3-0 week of Pacers basketball. The first game, you're right. We should not have won this game. Pacers win Monday, March 31st at home, 111-109 over Sacramento. We were down late into the game, and we, for once, not for this team. I guess I'm thinking more of like a lifetime Pacers fan. We snatched victory from the jaws of defeat. But outstanding performances from several players. I think we had a lot going on this game, but we were cranking those threes out. Obi Toppin, 5 of 8 for 3. We were really only 34% for the night, but Jarris Walker went 6 for 10 from the field. But we'll come back to this one. Second game of the week, still at home, Wednesday, April 2nd, versus the Charlotte Hornets. Pacers win 119-105. This one was a little more chill. Pacers have a nice 14-point victory. And starters, we're back. I guess we're down. We're down on the injuries, so we're basically back to what we were sort of expecting for a starting lineup. Starting Siakam, Nesmith, Turner, Halliburton, and Nembhard. And double digits from all those guys except Nembhard. But Halliburton, 22 this game. Last game of the week, Friday, April 4th. Pacers take on the Utah Jazz at home and win 140-112. This game, was this one? I think we were talking. We got the new math going on this game, but we were struggling to miss for parts of it, and a nice big victory. Also, the Jazz are playing. They're basically a shell of what they are. They won, I think, 16 games this season, and they made it interesting for far too long this game. 17 blocks as a team I'm seeing here, which seems high.
Yeah, I was wondering what the most blocks by a Pacer team ever was. I couldn't find that.
I think it was. They may have gotten where they were like one. They were very close.
Okay.
If they didn't get there. But it's a 3-0 week for the Pacers. I mean, granted, these teams aren't great, and we did, kind of sneak that win out of Sacramento's hands. But Jason, what did you see from highlights for the week on this little victory streak?
Yeah, it was a good week of basketball. I thought Aaron Nesmith sort of stood out to me as a dude that's sort of picking up the the bits and pieces. His energy has been rewarded in a lot of these games. Some of these games, as you go down the stretch of a season, can get a little bit wonky. So, in that Charlotte game, they would rally back every now and then, and the Pacers would remember that they were better at basketball and then do better. In the Utah game, the Pacers were down much of the first half, and it was pretty back and forth in the third quarter until Siakam and the bench kind of just took the game into their own hands and ran away with it pretty much. The other thing of note in those first two games, missing Ben Mathurin again, who we missed a little bit last week, out with the shoulder strain, so it was nice to see him back. A calf strain. So nice to see him back in that game against Utah, and boy, was he hungry. He just attacked the basket relentlessly and got to the line 16 times and went 12 of 16 from the line there. And I thought that was key to just keeping us around in that game. We went to the line a total of 38 times in that game. Didn't shoot very well, but got there a bunch. And Miles Turner, an absolute beast. So, we're doing what we need to do, pulling out wins. Obviously, the most impressive, I think, was that Sacramento win, coming back from down 16, I think it was, in the middle of the third. And still have a chance to get 50 wins this year. So,
yeah, we do.
I don't know. Colson, what'd you see?
Starting off with that Sacramento game, I'm watching this thing going, we're a better team than this, but this is a Sabonis revenge game. He was just destroying us down low. And then DeMar DeRozan decided he was going to help Sabonis get his revenge, I guess. The two of them were just slicing and dicing us. And I felt like Halliburton was really quiet. And I was like, wait, do you not want to show something to your old team? And then he won this game for us down the stretch. He just hit shot after shot after shot. He was just going to the basket, hit a big three-pointer. We were down, I guess, just 5, and he hits 4 consecutive buckets to get us up 2, and then Siakam hits a big sort of game-sealing 3. But, they still made it close. They kept hitting three-pointers. It was one of those games where I was like, why is this game not over yet? But, it was just more clutch minutes for us, and showing we can play in the clutch, and that was great. I loved this Jazz game. You're right. It was the smash math. It was blocks. It was free throws. And I know we were beaten up on a bad team, but it took us a while. That first half was very competitive. They had Colin Sexton, who's fantastic and a good player. And, who's that Keontae George kid was killing us. But we just were the better team and pulled this out. I'm proud of these guys. I think we're showing that different guys can step up. I think the goal is to be playing our best basketball. And I don't know if we're playing better than we were playing in January, but we're starting to get pretty close. We're stringing a lot of wins together all of a sudden.
I've got an update here for the Pacers as a franchise, as a team. The most blocks in a single game is 18.
Okay.
And they did that twice. Once against the Pistons in 1977 and once against the Bulls in 82. So it's been a long time.
We were right on the precipice there. All right.
We were on the precipice. And you're probably not going to be too surprised by... Do you know who the individual game record is for Pacer and how many they had?
I guess Jermaine O'Neal and 11.
I'm going to go Roy Hibbert with 10.
All right. Well, I'm going to give you a split because it's Roy Hibbert with 11.
Nice.
Nice.
So he did that against the Hornets, November 21st, 2012.
Blockosaurus
Rex.
Yes.
Yeah, you mentioned his name earlier, Joey. The other dude that's been impressive to me and getting more consistent minutes is Jarris Walker.
Mm-hmm.
He played at least, I think, 13 minutes in each of these games. A couple of them he got 20 minutes because Matherin was out there. But he's been playing well and making shots and making good decisions.
He still makes 2 bad turnovers a game, but you're right. I think he's playing fairly well. and usually those turnovers are coming out of a really good idea that just gets picked off or something, It's like a creative pass that somebody catches.
I mean, for what it's worth, he had 1 turnover all week. But
oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe I'm watching a different game. I feel like maybe he's...
It does seem like he gets himself into situations that he doesn't quite know how to get out of, and he just kind of sometimes gets lucky that it's not a turnover. I agree with that. But
yeah. I feel like there was a one where he had like this really great touch pass to somebody underneath the basket and it got knocked out of bounds. So it wasn't really a turnover because we got the ball back. Right. It would have been brilliant, but somebody saw it coming, sort of thing. Yeah. I love this kid's game. I mean, it's just so well rounded. He plays such great defense. He works his butt off, and he's got great vision. I just love his passing and his desire to share the basketball.
Yeah,
he's a plus 21 in that Charlotte game, and I feel like he's ready. I feel like some of that hesitation in his game isn't there anymore, and he's ready to shoot, and he's ready to go. He to me, his demeanor is more, this is all right. I'm on the floor. It's my time to do my thing, and I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, I mean, this was essentially sort of his rookie year, if you will, for a guy of at the place that he got drafted. Usually, a player like that would play a lot more minutes in their first season. Yeah. And I mean, he just got drafted onto a ridiculously deep team and couldn't find minutes. But this year, he got a little bit more consistency, and so he now looks no longer like a deer in the headlights, which I think could be it'll be interesting to see how he responds in the postseason, I think. On the flip side of that, the guy I'm worried about this week is Ben Shepherd. Dude just looks like he needs a nap or something. I don't know. Like, he has been struggling lately. He looks tired. He's a little bit hesitant to put the ball up because he hasn't been shooting as well as his high standards are lately. It seems, at least to the eye. I don't have any numbers to back that up, but coach still trusts him. Coach still puts him out there and makes him play defense against the DeMar DeRozans of the world and the Zach LaVines of the world. So he is providing things on that end of the floor.
And I suppose if you leave him wide open, he'll still shoot it. But you're right. He's just not really looking at the hoop.
Mm-mm. Nope.
Obi Toppin continues to be amazing.
Yeah, he's great.
Neesmith, I think, has decided he needs to shoot 15 times a game now. I don't know.
Yeah.
He's been real confident lately.
He really is. I don't know if that's just he's picking his... Or that's what the defense is giving us. But I do feel like he's been... Like I said at the top, he's been much more aggressive, in taking the ball to the hoop and sort of attacking those seams on offense. Because, our offense is one guy breaks a guy down and then it's just keep cycling it out and doing the weave until you get something wide open, You go good to great, basically. And he is the beneficiary of that a lot.
Yeah.
As we wind this season down, get closer to the playoffs, which we'll talk about shortly here, about likely matchups and things like that. How do you guys feel about not so much partially the rotation, but this starting five? I guess for me, Matherin is the one that could be inserted into the starting lineup. But I guess Jason, you're a resident Matherin expert. Do you think that it makes I know what he wants, but what do you think makes the most sense for this team? Does it make sense for Mathurin to come in off the bench, or should he take the place of Nembhard or Naismith?
Well, I think for the rest of the season, they'll stick with what they've got. I mean, you don't.
Yeah.
You kind of got to go with the lady that brought you to the dance, right? So, long term, though, I think it's a really interesting question. Colson and I had long conversations about this when he was here visiting, because it's clear that Mathurin is a starter in this league, and he's going to have a long and high-scoring career in this league, and he knows it, and I think the team knows it, and he started a lot this season when Naismith was injured and did quite well. I mean, the team didn't particularly do very well in that stretch, but they were missing other pieces, and Halliburton wasn't Halliburton quite yet. So I think next year, you'll see him in the starting lineup. My comparison was Al Harrington, who was starter level forever, and the Pacers could never find minutes for him. Or starter minutes, I guess, because Ron Artest was there. And then, if he had just stuck around maybe a little bit longer, he would have been a starter. But he needed more minutes. So, but he tends to close games. I don't know what the actual numbers are, but I would say he closes games more than he doesn't. Mathurin, that is. So, in a way, that's more telling of what the coach sees as the best 5 guys.
Sure.
Well, our starting lineup, I think since the All-Star break, has been top 5 in point differential, if I recall this. I'm having trouble finding the stat, but it's something like that. Our starting 5 has been incredibly good.
I think it's like, our starting 5 or the 4 guys with Mathurin instead of Naismith.
With Mathurin.
Or like
right.
3 of the top 4 lineups or something. 5-man lineups.
Yeah, so I've got us net rating. I think there's a minutes cutoff, but we have when you look at the front page of this thing, it looks like it's OKC, their starting lineup, and then us twice, which is wild. And Boston, of course, and Cleveland. But yeah, that means our starting lineup is up there with the best teams in the NBA, and our lineup with Mathurin is as well. So I do think this is long term a Mathurin. Matherin's got to start next year, I think, but that's a problem for another day.
Yep.
I think I love Naismith. I love our depth. I love the way that it works with Mathurin being able to just be the scoring punch off the bench, where he essentially gets to run the offense. I think that works really well for us, and I think it makes us hard to guard. We're not only guarding people, 94 feet. We're getting the entire length of the court for most of the game. We're also just bringing fresh legs off the bench all the time offensively. And, I think we're a hard team to play. And I think it's in a 7-game series where you're playing every other night. Like, I think people are going to get tired of seeing us, and we're going to win a bunch of games.
Yeah, for sure. I want to thank you, Colson, for sharing. It was Siakam and Nembhard were on what's called the young man in the 3 now. Used to be the old man in the 3. But JJ Redick can't do that podcast anymore, I guess. So anyway, very fun conversation. We can share it in the show notes between those 2 guys. And I was just listening to that podcast and just thinking about how likable this team is. Like, to a man. Like, there's not a dude that gets put on the floor, with the exception of maybe Thomas Bryant, where I'm like, like, bad things could happen here. You know what I mean? Like, I kind of trust all these dudes, and they have a good camaraderie and spirit about them. So, I don't know. Why I had to bring that up, but
it does. And apparently from that podcast, like Nembhard and Siakam are like best friends on the team. Like, I love that. That cracks me up. Like, that's a weird pairing. I mean, I know that whatever 32 and 25 aren't that far away, but in the NBA, that's like a different generation. You know,
Sure.
It's the old man and the young kid and all that stuff. But they have such a good dynamic back and forth, and both have some Canadian background.
Right.
So I'm sure they bonded over that. Apparently, Nimhard was a huge fan while Siakam was winning titles there with the Raptors. That was fun.
Yeah. One of the good tidbits out of that is apparently McConnell recently had a birthday and was gifted a cane by Obi Toppin. So that's good. But yeah, I agree with you. This team's going to be something to deal with in the postseason, regardless of who we play against. And are playing good ball. So if you look at like team statistics since the All-Star break, the Pacers are 8th overall in offensive rating and 11th in defensive rating. Which, you always talk about, if you're in the top 10 of both of those things, then you got a shot to win a title, Mm-hmm. And so we're knocking on the door of that. I don't know that we're, I think there's teams that are ahead of us that are probably better title contenders, but I don't think there's anybody that wants to see us in the playoffs,
I think especially the way we've been playing now. Like the last month or so, we've had very few games where we weren't in it, and a lot of wins. A lot of games that we fought for and won, particularly late at the buzzer, and we're finding ways to win, which is not something I could say about Pacers teams in other seasons.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, so we've
won 9 of our last 11.
Yeah, right? 9 of our last 11. 2 of those are OT games, and I think, what is this? 8 of them were clutch. No, that's not quite right. 7 of them were clutch minutes.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, over our last 10, only Boston is 9-1 above us, and in the West,
Oklahoma City.
The only teams, Oklahoma City and Houston, are equals.
Yeah. So speaking of the playoffs, so if we look at the standings, where do my standings go? The Pacers are currently, we're pretty much locked into the 4 seed. Now we're 3 games behind the Knicks and 3 games ahead of the Bucks. 3.5 games ahead of the Pistons. So we're likely going to play either the Bucks or the Pistons, who are fighting for that 5th spot. Is there one of those teams that you would prefer to see? And if so, why?
Both of those teams do not like us.
No, yeah, it's going to be testy. I mean, whoever.
In particular, like out of all the playoff teams, like right now, those are the 2 that like us the least. And I don't know what we did. I mean, look, the Bucks, we put them out of the playoffs. Like that's whatever. That's something that happened.
And to be frank, the Pistons don't like anybody, so
yeah,
it's not
and
really
also,
an us
the
thing.
The Knicks don't like us either, since we put them out.
That's true. That's true.
I actually like the matchup for multiple reasons on both of these teams. I think, we played the Bucks tough. I think, we were like, we won last year because Giannis was out and Lillard went out eventually as well, right?
Yeah,
yeah.
Yep.
And that definitely helped us win that series. With I'm not saying it didn't, but we play this team tough when everybody's healthy. And am I more concerned about their playoff chops than I am about the Pistons? Yes. I think the nice thing about the Pistons is they haven't been there yet, and I think we could probably handle them with our experience. But I think we with home court, I think we beat both those teams, just for different reasons. one, we like our matchup with the Bucks, and two, we've got experience on the Pistons.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Ron Holland Jr. is going to have to like make a shot at some point in a critical junction for them, and Isaiah Stewart will get thrown out of a game or two.
Oh yeah, or two.
Yeah, the Bucks. I mean, it's unfortunate because Lillard is out indefinitely with that deep vein thrombosis thing. But I thought I heard earlier this week that they are targeting the postseason for a potential comeback or return to the lineup. So that would be good to see. And we haven't seen Giannis in a. I mean, playoff Giannis is a beast.
I mean, yeah.
Regular season Giannis is a beast, and like he takes it to a whole nother level in the playoffs, which is just crazy. So, and we, the luxury is we have a bunch of different dudes that we can throw at him, and the idea is to just kind of make the other guys beat you, kind of guard him 1-on-1, let him get his stuff, and then just try to stop the other dudes.
We also have done. We've figured out how to build the wall on the fast break. Right. Mm-hmm. We don't let him just. We try not to let him go downhill too much.
Yeah.
Is Kyle. I liked the Kyle Kuzma trade for them, but he's not been great since he got there. I mean, is he? He's not good defensively. I mean, they missed Chris Middleton. Like I know that Chris Middleton wasn't healthy, but they missed a healthy Chris Middleton.
Yeah. I mean, Kuzma does not keep me up at night.
Yeah,
worried about him. Whereas Chris Middleton, almost single-handedly won a couple games in that series last year. So,
and he's one of the reasons they won a title. So, Antetokounmpo is one of the best players on the planet. You're right. He's going to give you 14, 15, and 5 probably, or 40, 15, and 5 probably in the playoffs. But I think if all we have to do is essentially play one guy, I'm not afraid of that series, especially with home court.
Yeah, and with the playoff season, right? If you'll remember, we beat them in 6, I think, right? But 2 of those games that we lost where essentially we had no idea what playoff basketball was like. Like game 1, we got our doors blown off because we were like, oh, this is just a big regular season game, basically. And the Bucks were like, no, son, this is
playoffs.
And they torched us. And then I think the other game was similar to that. It was a situation where, again, every game gets harder in the playoffs, and we weren't ready for the next step.
If it was that I think it was the Middleton and Lillard. They just, were veterans on us. I'm pretty sure if that's that one. I think this is going to be another long playoff run, but it's still going to be hard. The basketball's hard. The NBA is difficult.
Yeah,
I'm confident. I'm really glad we're getting home court. That was one of our goals, and I'm really glad we're going to almost get to 50. I mean, there's still a chance. We are currently at halftime. Oh, just out of halftime, down 4 to the Nuggets in Denver in the third quarter.
Not bad.
Not bad.
So yeah, Pacers currently 46-31, 4.5 games left. Got the rest of this Nuggets game, which we'll go watch, and then 4 games on the slate. What is that? Tuesday, hosting the Wizards. Thursday, hosting the Cavs. Friday, hosting the Magic. And then Sunday, a 1 o'clock tip at the Cleveland Cavaliers again. Oh, and I should mention the Bucks and Detroit play each other the last 2 games of the season.
Yes.
So that basically 2-game set will determine who we play in the first round.
We were right. It was a Chris Middleton game. Lillard was already out. Chris Middleton had 29 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 assists. And Bobby Portis went ahead and put up 29 and 10 in that game
was
as
the
well.
Bobby Portis game.
Yeah, so that's how we lost that game. They were just tough and veteran.
He's probably high on PEDs.
Yeah.
So it was at their house. They were tough and not going to give up and we're going to lose the series at home. So showed some pride. We're a better team.
Before we move on to something else, I did have a stat of the week this week.
Hey.
Joey, stat of the week.
And one thing that Colson's been talking about a lot is that the Concorde doesn't fly anymore. He was missing his quick flights to Europe and back. You know, he's a jet setter.
Sure.
And you know, now it's I got 6 hours. And good news is, Colson, the supersonic commercial flight may be coming back sometime soon for people like you. There is...
I like to jet set.
Yeah.
To lunch in Paris and then come back.
Yes. Mm-hmm. There is an experimental plane that is being built by NASA and Lockheed Martin. It is the X-59, and it's part of the Quest mission. But they're trying to build planes that will break the sound barrier but aren't so loud. You know, that's the problem, is when they break the sound barrier over land, there's a big sonic boom, and it's real loud and it's annoying. And they are trying to build something that through its shape won't make such a loud noise, and they're actually, you know, from all the testing that they've done, that they say it's going to make a sonic thump instead of a sonic boom.
Are they going to put like a big silencer on it, or like?
Yes. Thump, thump. No, there's it's just off the shelf stuff from your local ammunition store.
Okay.
We just slap it onto the front of a plane.
They're just gonna put those like inverted egg crate things all over.
Ooh, that's a good idea. Yeah, like my studio has here.
Right.
Yes. No, the shape is like, it's really the main part of the plane looks pretty normal, you know, compared to regular planes that you see, but the nose is very long and thin, and it's just designed in such a way that the pressure that creates those loud sound waves, it's just spread out very differently, and they won't make such a big, you know, a big explosion type sound as it gets up there.
So was Pinocchio plane on the board for a name? With its long,
that's the thing.
Nose? That would have been.
Think so. The only other name that I'd seen,
Gonzo.
The Gonzo,
the Cyrano
the only
de
other
Bergerac plane.
They called it the Low X Boom, was like the only nickname that it had. So I think Pinocchio is still on the board.
Okay.
But it flies here. You know, I always get trouble from you guys because I don't have enough stats in my stat of the week. But it is 99.7 feet long, 29.5 feet wide, and is supposed to fly at Mach 1.4, which is 925 miles an hour at 55,000 feet.
That seems fast.
So
and high.
Yeah, they've done a lot of testing of models, you know, like 10% scale models and wind tunnels and things like that. But the plane is now built, and it just passed its major pre-flight, you know, pre-test flight electromagnetic interference testing, whatever. I don't know. They got to make sure it's not messing up other planes and stuff. So,
now,
but they passed that, and it should go this year.
Who'd you say made this?
NASA.
It's NASA and Lockheed Martin.
Okay, good. So Boeing's not involved. So we don't have to worry about what happens when a door flies off at Mach 1.4.
Not at all.
Okay.
No, and actually, one thing that's interesting about this plane, another thing that's interesting is because of the way it's designed, the pilot cannot see. You know, it sits so low.
Yeah,
the
I can't
pilot
see
sits
past
so
the
low.
Pinocchio nose. Yeah,
You can't see past the Pinocchio nose. So it's all done through. It's not done through optic vision. It's done through. It's all computers on a display with like augmented reality and things. So
Wow.
got to sit real low.
Now, if they're going to crowdsource the name and let people on the internet vote, let me suggest Nosy McNose plane.
Okay, that's a good one. I like that. Nosy McNose plane, the Pinocchio plane. I like it.
And it's going too fast for a guy to fly in real time. He has to be in augmented reality.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
That's right. So hopefully we'll be able to, take our transcontinental flights here very quickly in the near future. Because I know, Colson, much of your life was just spent above the clouds, bored.
Well, I like it. Yeah, I like it when it's less time in the air.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Boats
we
are
would
fun,
have done an Undebeatacon in Paris if the Concorde existed, but we just don't have the time for 2 7-hour flights.
Yeah.
So if it's going at the speed of light or whatever, how
Yes.
long does it take to get to Paris?
Well, if you go at the speed of light, not like infinitesimal. You're just there.
Okay.
And from your perspective, right? But it depends. Well, it depends on who the observer is in this situation.
So if I'm
But
in
if it's-
Paris, then John's there immediately.
Which John? So the Concorde could do New York to London in 3.5 hours.
Okay.
The Concorde went a little bit faster. It was Mach 2. But apparently it was like really, really fuel inefficient. So it was like really expensive, and this one I think that they're trying to build is going to be, would be more fuel efficient, Only 1.25 times the speed of sound.
Well, you got to be, in this economy, you got to be budget conscious.
Did you guys play a lot of Street Fighter growing up? There was a lot. My house, a lot of Sonic Boom, Sonic Boom,
being thrown.
Sonic Boom,
Sonic Boom, Sonic Boom.
Who was the character that threw the Sonic Boom?
Was it Guile? Was that right?
Yeah, maybe that sounds right. The army guy, right?
Yeah, with obnoxious blonde floppy hair.
Yeah.
How do you have floppy hair if he was in the military?
He's probably
He's a rebel, man.
Yeah. I mean, you think Rambo was like up to code?
Oh, good call. I mean, he was out of the military by then. That was the whole point, wasn't it? I don't know. I haven't seen those in a while.
Yeah.
Who was your favorite Street Fighter? Who did you play with, Joey?
I think I play with E Honda. Is it E Honda?
Oh, yeah. The Super Slap.
Yeah, the Super Slap, the sumo wrestler. He was fun. I liked Dalsim a lot.
Yeah, Dalsim was awesome. The stretchy arms and legs.
Oh
The
yeah,
fighter.
I liked that one. That was pretty good.
And I did play. I'm naming most of the characters now, but I also really liked.
What about this guy?
Blanco, the
the Amazonian dude.
the Amazonian like monster guy who would just electrocute everybody.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the play style of standing there, and then when they attacked me, I would fry them.
Yeah. That's a good one.
Was there a girl that did kicks upside down like a helicopter?
Yeah.
It was Chun-Li.
Chun-Li.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was my go-to.
Yeah, she was good.
Yeah.
And then Ken and Ryu.
Yeah. Hey, who was your player?
I think
Who's
I
your
mostly
fighter?
did Chun-Li or Dalsim. Is that the guy's name?
Yeah.
The stretchy?
Yeah.
Yeah. I had a phase of the Russian, the huge giant Russian dude.
Zangief?
Yeah, Zangief. I was
right.
decent with him for a little bit, but yeah. But he moves too slow. I didn't.
He's
like those faster.
a slow brawler.
Yep.
But if you got you got in close, it's game over for those guys.
For sure.
Grapple them, slow, just throw them down. Colson, what about you? You just liked whatever you could mash the buttons the fastest, right?
Mm-hmm. As long as you could, that's why I liked the stretchy guy, because you could jump and then just shoot his arms out while you were jumping and the legs out. You didn't have to get real close to people and you still hit them. That was my jam.
Yeah.
Just smash all the buttons and see what happens. I wasn't real good, but I would win occasionally with the button.
I mean,
mashing.
when you mash those buttons.
Yeah.
I mean that's how I play the NBA basketball games too.
Right.
How often did I get a rebound and then just shoot the basketball on the
Immediately. Yeah.
immediately?
Just chuck it to the other end. All right, let's get out of here and catch the fourth quarter.
Yep. Yeah, let's do that. Well, we'll be back with you next week as we get in closer to the playoffs. We'll also be on Twitter at Undebeatables. We'll be at facebook.com/theundebeatables. Theundebeatables.com is our contact form there. Email is shoutout@theundebeatables.com. The website /store is our merch.
For the architect Donnie Walsh and our once and always Hall of Fame coach Bobby Sickleonard, turn out the lights, the party's over.
Oh,
Nice. No comment.
I brought back some Sonic the Hedgehog into this household. My son has been watching that. He likes how fast Sonic is.
Is he watching you play?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Well, he has a controller in his hand, but
Okay. So he's playing.
he's playing. It's not, turned on or had batteries or anything.
Sure.
But he likes how fast Sonic is.
You're giving him a false sense of success.
Maybe, but it's because I really got bored watching him play because he's terrible at everything. He has no idea what to do. And those games are not forgiving.
Yeah, no.
It's not me that's not forgiving. I forgive him. It's the world.
The cruel world of gaming.
Yes. Even though I think my nieces and nephews let him play. I think there's they let him play some Mario Kart game where it basically did it for you.
Oh.
So he was able to.
It's like bumpers and bowling.
Basically, I think it was some sort of bumper mode for kids or something. So he was able to play some Mario Kart.
That's pretty cool.
But I feel for that child when he gets old enough, his mother is going to spank him on the Mario Kart field. She's vicious.
Is she?
No mercy. No holds barred. See it for yourself.
All right. Well, yeah. Next time I'm there, I'll challenge her to a Rainbow Road or whatever the hell it is.
Yeah. Did you guys see that the Switch 2 got announced and then they halted the pre-orders because of the tariffs? Because they were going to be crazy expensive.
Oh no.
So they've halted pre-orders.
At my bar, when you come in, it's cans of Modelo are going to be market price. That's how it's going to be.
Wow.